Stay frosty and head over to easymutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around 40 bucks. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Chargers fans, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? This quote has been floating around in my mind for the last few weeks because the 3-9 Chargers are preparing to face the 4-8 Falcons.
I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Both of these teams just have the uncanny ability to grip loss from the jaws of victory. Some NFL fans are already labeling this game the choke bowl. But the reality is somebody's gonna have to win this game. And that in of itself is gonna make this an interesting watch. Because I see both of these teams somewhat in the same light. A pretty great offense, but a defense that couldn't even stop a nosebleed. So what does this spell out to? Your classic John Wayne Western style shootout. Yes, sirs, I do expect a lot of points to be scored on Sunday, and I mean a lot, by both sides, but this doesn't necessarily spell out victory for the Bolts. I think a lot of it is simply going to come down to timing and execution. We just didn't execute today. Now, I'm confident in Justin Herbert's ability, as well as Keenan Allen's, Eckler's, and Bosa's, but outside of that, there's a lot of factors at play here. As well as an important question that Chargers fans are asking themselves this week: what happens to the draft order if we do win this game? We'll answer all of this and more in this video. But before we do get started, guys, I do want to make a couple of announcements. I've been talking about this last couple of videos. I am running a giveaway right now. I am giving away a signed Derwin James jersey. Very easy to enter. Just follow the link in the description. I think I'll make it the pinned comment as well. And make sure you are subbed to the channel. This is my way of saying thank you guys for all the support. I'll be drawing a winner sometime around Christmas Eve. And secondly, the Join My Crew campaign is live. It's going on right now. If you guys want to continue to support the channel in other ways, go ahead and join the crew. You guys will get custom emojis, members only chat, and you'll see your name at the end of the credits in all of my videos. Actually turned out pretty sweet. With that, guys, let's get into this one. Before we do get started, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. The 3-9 Chargers have been absolutely collapsed in the 2020 season, and most of it's due to our coaching. They've mismanaged this team and squandered their potential since day one. But the Falcons are definitely walking a very similar path this year as well, dropping would-be wins at the last second on multiple occasions. It's been a tough year for Atlanta fans, but there's a big difference to how each of these teams are approaching this issue, and we'll get more into that in a minute. But first, we do need to go over injuries upcoming for this Sunday. Let's go ahead and fix this screen real quick. There we go. Let's take a look and see who is suiting up on Sunday. I'll turn my head cam off for just a second there. You guys can see that Julio Jones, Caleb McGarry, those guys will not be suiting up as far as we know, as well as a possibility of Keanu Neal. We'll get into detail of that here in a second. As for the Chargers, though, things are looking pretty good outside of Denzel Perryman, who's doubtful to suit up on Sunday. Tremaine Pope and Joe Reed are questionable. Outside of that, everybody seems pretty good. I do think it is worth mentioning, though, that Trey Pipkins is on the COVID list, so I don't know if he's going to be suiting up on Sunday. We might see more of Storm Norton, which is a big question mark in my opinion. But as for the Falcons, there's a lot of big names on here, guys. Big names that could definitely turn the tide of this game. Ricardo Allen is out. James Carpenter is out. Dante Fowler is limited. He might not be playing. Todd Gurley did not practice. We don't know his status right now. Hayden Hurst was limited. Grady Jarrett was limited. Julio Jones has been confirmed out, which is a huge big one for the Chargers. Caleb McGarry and Keanu Neal. There's a lot of guys, dudes, that could really help the Falcons in this matchup that simply will not be there. So keep in mind, as we go into Sunday, the Falcons are going to be kind of at a disadvantage when it comes to injury. That's kind of a big deal this week, especially the absence of Julio Jones. That's going to change a lot about how I think this game's going to go down. They do have really good weapons outside of Julio Jones, but I do do think him sitting out does give the Chargers a bit of a boost in our odds to actually grab the victory this week. So the Chargers are looking pretty good injury-wise, but will it be enough to stop the Falcons? We actually do need to dig a little bit deeper, because to me, the Falcons still do possess a couple of key factors to pay attention to. A quarterback that's not afraid to sling it, and still elite receivers that can move the chains. That, of course, does not include the talents of Julio Jones this week, but they still have some playmakers, because we've seen guys like Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage ball out before in Atlanta. There's no reason to think that they couldn't do it again, especially versus a porous defense like the Chargers. But again, I must highlight the talents of Matt Ryan, currently ranked number 5 on the year in passing yardage. This team is capable of dropping like 40 plus points at any given moment. I just do not think the Chargers are going to be able to slow them down with or without Julio Jones, because if you guys remember, Julio Jones did miss a lot of time this year, and to step into his role, Calvin Ridley actually put up some really good stats even without Julio on the field. So we really do need to pay attention to Calvin Ridley this week. As I said before, they got guys like Russell Gage and other guys that really do get involved when there's a vacancy and they need to step up into that role. And it's because of this that I think the Chargers are going to have no choice but to do something that we've been pushing for so much on this channel. Don't take your foot off the gas and stack the scoreboard, because I see the Chargers as almost of like a carbon copy of the Falcons in the AFC West. An explosive offense that can go off at any time, but a defense that struggles on a weekly basis as well. It's really going to be a battle of the gunslingers this week, and victory will be rewarded to the coach who is bravest enough to let their quarterback really go to work. And I fully believe that both these quarterbacks could see their best game of the season in week 14. But again, guys, I worry that Anthony Lynn may retreat to his conservative mentality and cause the Chargers to fall behind. If there was any a week where we got to like let things go and say just trust in Herbert, let Herbert cook, it's this week. You know, and fun fact, if Justin Herbert had played week 1 versus the Bengals, and he's right here, by the way, number 11, and let's say he put up around 300 yards like he's been doing all year, he would be up here right above Russell Wilson, just beneath Jared Goff, who does have 2 games ahead of him at this point. So he would be right there next to Matt Ryan, really in the top 5 of quarterbacks, which is super impressive. That's why I'm trying to display to you guys that these are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league when it comes to stacking yards and points. We just kind of have to let them do their thing. Justin Herbert needs to be allowed to compete with the likes of Matt Ryan if we're going to keep up with Atlanta. We must let Herbert cook. Please, for the love of God, Anthony. Should we just start calling him Tony? Please, for the love of God, Tony. And as for Ryan, I think he's going to do just that, man. At 3,436 yards on the year, I think this Chargers defense gives him a great opportunity to continue to stack his stats as well, because the Falcons really just have something that the Chargers do not this season. See, under coach Dan Quinn, the Falcons were a hot mess, losing game after game within very slim margins. And this is very similar to what Chargers fans have been experiencing all season long. The difference is this team had the courage to say enough and fired Dan Quinn mid-season, and that made a huge difference for that team. Meanwhile, the Chargers are stuck in the same situation that we were in week 1, with no signs of letting Lynn go before the end of the year. And in my opinion, this does put the Falcons at a serious advantage over the Chargers. Just as I mentioned last week, this game could come down to coaching, and Falcons interim head coach Raheem Morris has looked pretty good so far in his short tenure, winning 4 out of his last 7 games. The Falcons are now on pace to make a leap into 2021, seeing the potential of their team under new management. Now, I bring all of this up because I don't think that Chargers fans will see a better example of the importance of a coaching change more than in week 14. The Falcons were us. Down to every unfortunate last-second loss, heartbreaking drop, this team was us. But the difference is they made a change. They took that leap, firing Dan Quinn, and they are better for it. They are once again gaining momentum and making changes before the 2021 season, something that should help mold a new culture for their franchise before the end of the year. This really only highlights the ignorance of the Chargers' decision to do more of the same, to sit stubbornly in their own puddle of mediocrity. It really is poetry. How different would this team look right now under an interim head coach like Pep Hamilton or even Shane Steichen? The Falcons are living proof that a brave decision like firing a head coach mid-season can ultimately turn a team around. Now, sure, they'll probably not make the playoffs this year, but man, people are going to be looking at this team a lot differently in 2021 because of that decision. So I had to point that out in this video, guys. That's what can happen when you've got the guts to make a big move like that mid-year. The Falcons did it. I'm really disappointed that the Chargers have not. So let's get back on track here. A quick look at the Chargers. Can we win this game? Yes, we can. But if there ever was a game that we had an even 50-50 split to win, it would be this one. This game could go either way. Like I referenced at the top of the show, an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, but the ironic version of that. Who's gonna snatch that L? But the only thing that I'm absolutely positive on is that there's gonna be a lot of points scored. Like a lot. And in the end, those of us rooting for Justin Herbert to break records, win Offensive Rookie of the Year, we should be really happy with the end result, regardless if we win or not. Now, I'm pretty certain that Justin Herbert is going to break the all-time touchdown record by a rookie quarterback, currently at 27, held by Baker Mayfield. But what I'm less certain of is if he can beat the all-time yardage record held by Andrew Luck, which is currently at 4,374 yards. That's the number to beat. Justin Herbert currently has 3,224 yards with 4 games left to play. If he throws his average 300 yards a game, he would end up with 4,424 yards in just 15 games played. He'd hold the record with just about 50 yards above Andrew Luck. So the margins are very thin, but out of Herbert's 4 remaining opponents, this one is probably most important when it comes to stacking his stats and chasing that record held by Andrew Luck. If Herbert can throw for 350 yards or preferably closer to 400 yards, he would only need around 280 yards per game in weeks 15 through 17. And I think he's up to it. I think out of any opponent this year, more than anybody else, the Falcons present the best opportunity to stack his stats. Not to mention, there's a decent chance that he might be able to tie or even break Baker Mayfield's touchdown record this week. It's really the perfect storm for all of this, guys. You must understand this. This is a big one for Justin Herbert's rookie campaign. Last week's stint versus the Patriots really slimmed his odds of breaking the yardage record. But a strong outing here could easily put him back on track. We as Chargers fans need to be screaming in support of Herbert this week. He's got a chance without a doubt to become the greatest rookie quarterback of all time. He's gonna need this week in order to accomplish that. And in the final stretch of games, this one's gonna be the most important to root for. It gives him his best shot at closing out the year strong. So what do I think he could do versus the Falcons? Well, remember, this is a team that surrendered 233 yards to Taysom Hill, 313 yards to Drew Lock, and 343 yards to Kirk Cousins. And I'm pretty sure most NFL fans understand that Herbert is light years ahead of all these other quarterbacks. One of the most talented quarterbacks that they did face this year was Dak Prescott, who lit them up for over 450 yards. This team just gives up a crap ton of points, guys. Now, I'm stating all of these stats so you guys better understand my prediction for Herbert's stats this week, because I think his talent level is very close to Dak Prescott, and my prediction is going to reflect that. I think Justin Herbert's ceiling this week is around 430 yards and 4 touchdowns. There, I said it. There might be some guys rolling their eyes in the comments because, yes, we didn't score a single points versus the Patriots, but guys, this week is different. It's the perfect storm. Herbert could have his best game of the year on Sunday, and it could be one of the most memorable moments for Chargers fans this year. Well, in terms of positive memories, at least. We got plenty of negative ones. This is one I don't think any Bolts fans should miss. If you guys have been like not watching the games because they've been heartbreakers, I understand, but this is one I would definitely tune in for, because this could be the moment and the game that solidifies this statement in the minds of every NFL fan. Justin Herbert is the best rookie quarterback of all time. Unquestioned. How insane would that be? And of course, if Herbert has a huge game, you can fully expect guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry, and even Austin Eckler to go off this week as well. There's room for a lot of these guys to have spectacular fantasy days. But ultimately, I do think Allen and Eckler will receive a bulk share of the work. This Falcons defense is just not suited to stop these guys. Now, my only worry and contingency to this whole thing, this whole prediction, is Anthony Lynn. And it's a valid reason to worry. As we've seen time and time again, Lynn could easily take his foot off of the gas and play conservative in the second half, or he could waste valuable drives by trying to overcommit to establishing the run. There are risks, and it's sad. It's sad to think that one man could stifle this team so severely, but it's something that Chargers fans should probably be prepared for. It could definitely go down that way. But the other reality of it is, because of the opponent that we're facing this week, it really is the flip of a coin in determining how things do go down. This could be the best game of the year for Chargers fans, or simply the worst. It all falls on the shoulders of Anthony Lynn, a man that we'd all hoped would have made his exit by now in the year. He's a genuine human being, but he's also single-handedly destroying our potential. Now, the last thing I want to mention in this video is what happens if the Chargers do win this game. What happens to our high draft position pick? Because this is definitely something I've been hearing from Chargers fans on social media. So if we win, as well as the Cowboys versus Cincinnati and the Eagles versus the Saints, we could potentially stay at the 5 spot. And again, that would be us in the 5 spot with a record of 4-9. But there's also the possibility that if we do win, we could probably drop as far as the 7th pick. But if we do lose this game, if we do drop this game and the Cowboys perhaps win versus the Cincinnati Bengals, we would likely move up to the number 4 spot. But really, there's a lot of ways that this could go down here. That's just the obvious ones to me that I'm pointing out. Some Chargers fans really want us to lose. I'll never be on that boat. I want us to win no matter what. But I will admit that climbing a draft board does offer some relief when we do drop games. So if we lose, at least we have that to look forward to. So this brings me to my final prediction, guys, and it's a big one, okay? Remember everything that I've told you in this video so far. The shootout potential, the elite quarterbacks, the poor defenses. It all has to add up to something. And I think this could definitely spell out one of the highest point totals of the season. So here we go. Chargers 38, Falcons 42. That is a lot of points. Like I stated at the beginning of this video, this game could really go either way. We are both known for dropping games at the last second. We are both known for giving up a ton of points. We are both known for scoring a lot when the opportunity presents itself. Either way, I see the point total being close to or even exceeding 80 total points scored this week. 80. It reminds me of like shootout games we've seen in the past. Even if it's not two great teams, it should be a memorable game. Now, who ends up on top? We're just going to have to wait and find out. Either way, and only if Lynn steps out of the way, this should prove to be Justin Herbert's best performance of the year. So don't miss it. Well, guys, that's all I've got for today's video. If you did enjoy, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. Remember to hit up the giveaway for the Derwin James jersey. Links for everything is in the description. And if you're interested in supporting this channel even further, consider joining my crew. You will see the cast and producer level crew members and their names in the credits after this video. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you guys so much for your support this season. It's really meant a lot. It's been a down season, but Chargers fans still show up. Well, guys, thank you so much again for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty.